Hello and welcome to a very special edition of the Weekly Swarm. It's the Super Bowl edition. As always, I'm your host, Matt Mauney, the editor-in-chief of GADaily.com, and I'm very excited to announce my new co-host for the Swarm. She's also the news editor of the Georgian, Miss Shannon Knepp. Thanks for being on the show. And who are you rooting for in the big game?
Oh, thanks, Matt. I'm actually really excited. I wore my jersey, and go David Beckham!
Shannon,
What?
That's the wrong sport.
Wait.
Technically,
this is my football.
Technically, it's football, but it's the English football, European. See, in America, we call it soccer, and this is American football, and it's actually the game was between the Cardinals and the Steelers.
Oh,
But hey, she tried. That's cool. But we're really excited about the Super Bowl edition. We've got a lot in store for you. We're going to have two experts, two GSU students, both working for the radio station, The Buzz. We're going to have Rusty and Tom on the show in a 1st and 10 type breakdown where they're going to battle it out and argue over their points and their thoughts on the game, about who won, who lost, and the big players and big plays in that game. I'll be mediating that, so be sure to stay tuned for that later on in the show. But for now, we're going to break down the latest news and headlines for the coming week, and Shannon's going to do that for us right now.
All right, for us in news this week, our Class Dean search is coming to an end. We had our 4 candidates come talk within the past few weeks. We had Lawrence Alexander, Michael Smith, Celia Lowe, and Dr. Gerald Hale come talk to us. And now we just finished up, and soon the College of Liberal Arts and Social Sciences should be deciding on a Class Dean.
All right, thank you, Shannon. That was really good for your first time. Very, very
nice.
Nice. You're getting back with the whole, with the whole jersey thing. You're evening it out. That's good.
I mean, I never said I was good with sports. I'm news.
I mean, I like the effort though.
Right.
I appreciate it.
I tried though. I mean, this smells like my brother's closet, so you got to give me some credit.
Well, on that note, well, for now we're gonna take a break. We're gonna be back and with the feature that I was talking about earlier with Tom and Rusty, and they're gonna share their thoughts on the game. So be sure to tune in for that. And we're actually gonna cut to that right now. So thank you.
Thanks.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Weekly Swarm, the special Super Bowl edition. I hope everyone enjoyed the game last night where Pittsburgh Steelers won their historic 6th championship, defeating the Arizona Cardinals 27-23. I'm joined now by Rusty Brown and Tom Cunningham. Rusty is the host of the Big Nasty Buzz Blitz on 91.9 The Buzz, the student radio station here at Georgia Southern. And Tom is a columnist for the Georgian. They're going to share their thoughts on the game, give their feelings on different issues. We've got 4 questions. We're doing our own take on first and 10. We've got 4 questions for them. We're going to start off with this one. We're going to start with you, Rusty. Let's just start off with what were your overall thoughts on the game? It was a lot more a competitive game than a lot of people thought. A lot of people thought the Steelers were going to come in there with that dominant defense and just dominate the whole game. Cardinals played them, gave them a run for their money, gave them all they had, probably played them closer than a lot of teams did all year.
Right.
So give me your thoughts on the game, the competitiveness, and the final result.
Well, just looking at the line from Las Vegas the week prior to the Super Bowl, it looked like it was going to be a 7-point spread for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Arizona Cardinals did come in. They had a great game plan. They really established a great passing game. But you got to tip your cap here to the Pittsburgh Steelers. As you mentioned, 6 Super Bowl in franchise history, an NFL record, as well as you got to look at what they did in stopping the Arizona running game. It's not like they had much of one coming into the game, but still only allowing this team only 33 rushing yards. This is something that's outstanding. Pittsburgh did a tremendous job, but when I think of competitiveness of this game, the 2 words that come to mind are Kurt Warner. Tom?
Yeah, well, I thought an interesting stat was, you said, Rusty, 33 rushing yards for the Arizona Cardinals. 100 and I believe 18 penalty yards for the Cardinals. So my thoughts on the game were the Zebras were involved a little bit more than I thought they should have, but I thought they did a good job controlling the game. But again, Arizona with the penalties, that really killed them. They had Pittsburgh on the ropes a couple of times here and there, and really it all came down to really turnovers and penalty yards for Arizona. That really cost them the game because the talent was there, no doubt about that. The game plan was there, just penalties.
Okay. Centennial Holmes finished with 131 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, obviously the game winner, huge play. Who is your MVP? Is it Santonio Holmes?
Well, it depends.
Or do you give it to someone else?
It really depends which team you're talking to. Cardinals, obviously, Larry Fitzgerald with the 2 touchdowns gets that. But, you know, Santonio Holmes was named MVP. A lot of people saying Holmes and Roethlisberger. I'm going to go ahead and give it to James Harrison.
For me, in this Super Bowl, you got to go Big Ben Roethlisberger. Look at what he did. He had, I believe, 256 passing yards in this game, 70% completion percentage, only 1 interception. This was a quarterback who Pittsburgh asked to go out there and make minimal mistakes. He went out there, only had 1 interception, didn't really come back to haunt this Pittsburgh team as well. So 70% completion percentage, and not only that, the passes he made on that final drive reminded me of a lot of another number 7. His name was John Elway. Tremendous job here by Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Right, from that, we're going to move on. Good transition to our 3rd down. Is Kurt Warner a Hall of Famer, and if so, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Absolutely. Kurt Warner is a lovable loser, I guess you could kind of say. Like he said, he does only have 1 Super Bowl win, and he does have 2 losses, but he has thrown for 1,156 yards in 3 Super Bowls. That is an NFL record. He's averaging 385 yards per Super Bowl he plays in. That is remarkable. That is outstanding for anybody to do, and the story that he has, going from bagging groceries, playing in the European League football, bouncing around in Arena League football, and then bagging groceries and says, hey, I'm going to give it a shot in the NFL, and then turns out to be one of the best quarterbacks in an era where the quarterback is the dominant figure on the football field. Got to say, this guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Definitely a kind of an all-American scenario there, good All-American story coming from nothing. Tom, share your thoughts.
The adversity is clear there. This guy has overcome more, than any other guy in the NFL, I believe. Of course he's a Hall of Famer. First ballot, that's up to, that's a toss-up because of his personality. A lot of the press have, personalities swinging to their votes if they're first ballot or not. Hall of Famer, he was a Hall of Famer, I think, coming into this game already. He has, over 20,000 passing yards in his career, and three MVP awards, one of them being a Super Bowl MVP. So he does have the ring. He has 3 MVP titles. I'd say Canton's going to open him with wide arms.
Now we're going to go into our very last question. Is 4th down. The Pittsburgh Steelers won 27-23, 6th championship. That's more than any other NFL franchise. Tom, I'll start with you this time. Being a Steelers fan, there's probably going to be a little biased here.
Just a little bit.
But are they the best franchise ever?
Well, the reason you play the game, the reason you have a regular season is, for a championship winner to determine who the best team is. That's the entire, business. That's the entire reason of having the NFL. I don't know how much more evidence you can get for being the best franchise after 6 championship rings. Not only do you have the most Super Bowls than any other team, but you're owned by the Rooney family, the best owning / family in the NFL today. They treat their coaches with respect. They treat their franchise with respect. It's got the best tradition, other than, I'm not going to say over the Cowboys they got better tradition. I'm not going to say who's better there. But definitely Pittsburgh's got probably the best tradition, one of the best in the NFL. They've got one of the best owning / families in the NFL, and they have the most championships.
I think the front office thing is a big thing to point out there, because you look at the Dallas situation, and everyone calls them America's team. But you look
it's not
at
a beauty pageant,
right? And the Rooney family has done just so good with them. They've been successful, year after year. Had a few droughts here and there, but I think overall they've been more successful than the Cowboys, and obviously evident with the 6 championships. So.
All right, as you guys said, you got 6 Lombardi trophies in your trophy case, then you are the greatest franchise in the NFL. If you look at through other sports, it's going to be really hard to determine who's going to be the better franchise. Look at the Boston Celtics and what they've done in the NBA. But just looking at them from an NFL standpoint, this has got to be the best franchise of all time, just because of the way that they win. They've always won with class. Like you said, the Rooney family always treats their players and coaches with a lot of respect.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we can do this again, not just for national coverage, but also local coverage, talking about the Georgia Southern Eagles. But I appreciate y'all's time with us. That's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tune in next week for another edition of the Weekly Swarm. Thank you.